So many of you ask questions and talk about, can you put acrylic on top of gel, gel on top of hybrid gel on top of acrylic? Let's find out. Okay, I'm not desperate for a fill, but I push the cuticles back and they look awful now that I've done that. So I want to give them a fill because these are acrylic and I want to show you what it looks like if we fill them with hybrid gel. So look at these nasty things. So you can see they're not desperate. I could give them a little mini mani and re-gel polish them and they probably would look really good actually. But for the sake of this, let's fill them with hybrid gel. Now let's take a look inside. Mine is called Easy Gel. It's called that because it is easy. Relative to hard gel and acrylic, this is easy. It's a great product to work with. It's so much fun. Okay, so let's just take a look at the contents. This is a little card of everything that you get, but let's just dump it on the table. I'll get that later. Okay, so the one thing I want to point out is I have a hybrid gel kit, but this one I've upgraded all the sizes that you're getting. So we're now 30 grams instead of 20. So you're going to get a lot more sets out of these. Just to show you the difference. So this was the older size we had in the previous kit. So you can see we've upgraded quite a bit. This is 20. Now this is 30. Okay, so these are acrylic. They are a French. I did it with a blue French tip, and then I filled it with some acrylic. Then I put a top coat of mist on top of it, a gel color. Actually, this is the fresher set I just did, just to give it a very smooth look. So now I'm going to take off the gel polish, and then we're going to fill it with the hybrid gel and see how it reacts between each other. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm just going to use my bulk and sculpt because that's what I use to take off my gel polish and the bulk. But right now I just want to shave off the gel polish, then we'll fix the cuticle. I'm going to do this nail fill from beginning to end too. So let's get rid of that gel color. This one's called Mist, and I think it's just one coat. So it has just a very gentle blue tinge. Now we're going to see the end being blue because again, I've got the blue acrylic on the end. Now when you're doing a nail fill, just a little tip when you're doing fills, this is only grown out about 10 days, maybe a week and, well, 10 days is a week and a half, maybe 2, but I don't think it's been that long. But you can see the shape of it is different. When it was back here, the sides of it sat in here much easier. Now it's getting a little bit bulkier out here because over here is now sitting up here and it just, you can sort of see the shaping. It's just not the same. So I'm going to take this, when I take the gel polish off, it'll take it as well. But I'm just going to get rid of that little bulk on the side. Whenever you're doing a fill, there's always a lot of reshaping. If you had a sculpted nail, when it comes to tips, you have to work that a little bit differently. Some will just remove it because they just may not have those skills to actually reshape it. That's the beauty of a sculpted nail. You don't have to ever take it off. And I'm just going to go ahead and take off all the gel. Okay, now that I've got all the gel polish off and I reshaped it a little bit, now I'm going to go around the cuticle and prep the cuticle for the product. A little time saver trick for you. You don't have to push back the proximal nail fold or the eponychium. If you've got the arbor band can gently sort of push against it. You're not filing it. We're just pushing against it. So it's almost as a cuticle stick, pushing it back. I'm just going to go around and do the natural nail, and I'm also just going to hit anything that might look a little white like that. See, so I'm gently pushing back the eponychium with my arbor band, this side of the arbor band. See how it's not filing into my finger? There's no grit there. This is just simply the end of the bit. And using a medium grit or fine, that's what I highly recommend for natural nail. I don't recommend any more than that for natural nail. Now I'm going over top of the whole thing, the acrylic and everything. Okay, I'm just smoothing out and prepping the whole thing, preparing the whole surface to make it all nice and even and seamless before I put product on. You don't want to have any bumps or lifts or ridges. Don't nip anything because it makes a hard edge. We just want to have a very smooth, seamless area before we put any product in. Okay? Then I will do this technique on every single finger. Maybe there was a little bit of whiteness over there, so I'm just taking my arbor band and making sure that that's nice and smooth transition in there. Heads up, this is what a fill looks like when you're prepping for any product, really. Okay, and now I'm going to shape them. I sometimes will shape before I fill, just because for optical illusion, so if it's off a little bit, it might make your fill a little bit wonky. So shaping them up kind of just helps you. Also too, it makes you fill less. I mean, you don't want to fill to the shape that you have. Let's fill to the shape that you want. So just fine tuning those edges. Okay, I like those shapes. Okay, let's get your little duster and take off all the dust. I'm just going to take it off my mat too. See how much the dust falls? That's what happens with acrylic dust. It's very, very heavy. Okay, I got rid of all that dust. So I normally always wear a mask when I'm working with a customer. I have a fan here on the side blowing all of the dust. That's the real thin little bits in my breathing zone, because it does add to the sound and we want to have a nice crisp sound. So the heavy bits fall and the light ones don't go into my breathing zone. They're going away from me, which is nice. When you are putting on hybrid gel, mine is Easy Gel, you need an adhesive to bond between the natural nail and the acrylic and hanging on to the new product that I'm putting on. And in this case, it's called Bridge. It's an excellent bonding adhesive. In fact, if you are ever having any trouble with gel polish lifting after you finish your nails, you've done the finishing, then put this stuff on, Bridge, and then put your gel polish on. It'll help adhere the gel polish if you're experiencing any chipping. For some of those who might be concerned that my cuticles look kind of dusty, or proximal nail fold, or eponychium, whatever you're calling it, you don't have to worry. My cuticles are in great shape. I'm not a cuticle nipper. I don't really recommend it, but if you're concerned at all, oil's going to make it look excellent at the end. But if you have to cut away a little bit, like nip a little bit of the dead skin, do it at the end of the service. It's a lot easier on your client if you do it after. I'm going to put Bridge on, and this is the adhesive for hybrid gel to stick to my nail and the actual product that's already down. I'm just massaging the natural nail area, and it's going a little bit onto the acrylic as well. The reason why we want to massage it in a little is because we want it to get into all the little crevices. If you just painted it on, you might miss some spots where it could grab. See the shape of this brush? It just fits nicely in that cuticle right there. And now I'm going to put it on my thumb. And now I'm going to give this a 60-second cure. Okay, these nails are ready to fill. Now, I did have a chunk taken out of the blue here, but as I'm prepping it, it was gone. I was chopping some salad or vegetables, and it just chunked a bit out of there. So I was going to fill it. I had some, but it doesn't look like I have to. I think I've buffed it right out. So now I'm going to get my hybrid gel, and I'm going to fill it with Suzie's Perfect Pink. Now I have a little heart. See that little heart? That's the color of the product that I have. So if you're buying them in singles, you can see that when you have them in your desk, you'll be able to see the color. This one is white, and so it's a white little heart. This one is clear, so it has a little, I had to make it gray because clear just looks like the white. So I had to make it a little bit of gray there. Okay, so we're going to use Suzie's Perfect Pink, and it's going to be great because we're going to create almost like an ombre with this. I like these kind of tones because it covers up any imperfections on the natural nail. If you've got different colored products underneath, you can sort of smooth it over like foundation does on your face when you're doing makeup, right? Okay, so I'm just cutting into my hybrid gel, and you can cut the whole thing open or you can just do half. With builder gels, I tend to do half, but with these ones, I do the full one. Oh my goodness, look at that color. That is gorgeous. Okay, now get your hybrid gel brush. Now, what's cool about a hybrid gel? You cannot use a gel brush in place of a hybrid gel. And the reason being is because hybrid gel has a much higher viscosity. It means it's thicker and you need to pat it. So the bristles on a hybrid gel brush are specific to that motion of patting it down. Gel brushes are just too floppy and flimsy, which is what you need when you're floating, gel across the finger if it's a little bit not very high viscosity, which these are quite thick. So here is the bristles, and you can see that it's got much more pressure behind it. Look how much I'm pushing on there. This is a new one, so let's just break it out. But you can see it's much, much more rigid. Okay, now in your kit also is included a little dapping dish. And the little dapping dish is to put your 70% alcohol is what I recommend. See the little glass dish? It's a durable, and it's got a little lid. Just gonna pour some of the alcohol. Okay, now when you're working with gel, in particular, all gels, including hybrid gel, you want lint-free pads because there's nothing more annoying than loose cotton bits that you're dealing with other cotton pads. And in your kit, you have the lint-free pads, okay? So I will keep a couple of those really close by me. I even sometimes will dip in a little bit of alcohol. So I'll have that close by so I can sort of go like this with my brush to get rid of any product that I might need to get rid of. Okay, so now I've got the paddle on the end of my brush. See, I've got the brush on one end, and I've got the paddle on the other. And I'm going to scoop up, just take a guesstimation of how much product you need for that thumb. You want to do it to each and every finger size. Like the pinky, it'd be much less product than the thumb. I'm going to place, just take it off with your paddle. And I will use the alcohol on my brush as a barrier because sometimes it can be kind of sticky, but I don't want to over alcohol it because I don't want all the gel and the alcohol running into my cuticles. So I'm just going to push it as close as I can. You can even pull back your finger a little. I'm just pressing the product as close as I can to the cuticle without touching. And I'll do it all the way around. See that? Oh, what a gorgeous color. Okay, and then I'm going to take my brush and not have it this way, but I'm going to slant it on an angle, and I'm going to go in between my cuticle or skin, proximal nail fold, and I am going to press ever so gently just to sort of melt the product as close to the cuticle as I possibly can. Now remember, we are putting hybrid gel on top of acrylic. Now the telltale sign of whether they're going to be compatible together is not in the application. So let's just feather this off. I'm going to sort of do it kind of an ombre now. Isn't that pretty? Now there's still some filing to be involved, of course, so I can minimize what's happening on the free edge. But I like the different effect that it's causing. It's really pretty. So with Hypergel, it doesn't cure until it goes under the light. So you can mess around with it, shape it, fold it, smooth it, all those things. And you don't have to do that. You can do that all in the filing. So don't get picky thinking that if it doesn't look good at this stage, you're not doing a good job. That's just not the case. You can file it and shape it with your brush all you want, but you also don't have to get that picky. So that looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Got all the color on it where I just take a good look and see if you like that blend. I really do like that blend. Now, this is a thumb. I'm going to do all the other fingers, but the thumb's going to lay on the side like this. And the product might fall a little because it does move a little. That's the beauty of it. It moves a very tiny little bit. It doesn't move as much as a BIAB, which is a builder in a bottle gel, because they're meant to be runny so you can get it out of the bottle. So this isn't as runny as that. It's much, much, much thicker. That's why it's easier to work with, and that's why it's like acrylic. But I am going to nuke it because I don't want it to move when I'm doing the other fingers. Having said that, I could do the other fingers first and then do the thumb last and then nuke them all. You can do whichever way you want. There's no right and wrong there. It's just making sure that the product is staying where you want it. So by securing it, freezing it in place, will definitely secure that. Then you can go ahead and work on the other fingers and you don't have to worry about the thumb moving at all. I'm loving the look. Okay, let's go ahead and fill the other ones. Okay, now you can go ahead and give it a full 60-second cure. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of alcohol on a sturdy pad, and I am going to clean off, just going to clean that right off. I will put the cap on it, but I just want to note the other end. See how I have the Hypergel in the end of the bristles? If you leave that uncapped and there's any UV in the area near your light or the sunlight, that will cure in there and ruin your brush. So this is why every brush that I have a cap for it. You can leave the Hypergel in there, in your brush, and just simply cap it. Just make sure you don't bend it. It'll condition the bristles of your brush. It'll keep it nice and soft and usable for when you want to use it again. Okay, so you can just store that just like that. And then, of course, I'm going to close up my Hypergel. And then that's what your little cap is for. And you can just put that on top of your little jar for next time. You can use those for monomer as well. So I'm just going to use this bottle of alcohol here. Now what I'm trying to do now is I need to wipe away the sticky layer after the Hypergel is cured. It is cured sort of like from the bottom up, and then it leaves any sticky residue on top. Just like gel polish, right? You just have to wipe that away. And of course I do that on every finger. And when you're doing that, you want to be extra careful. Don't wipe it away and wipe up onto your skin. Wipe it away from your skin away. Just so you're not taking any uncured product and literally just wiping it all over the skin. You just don't want to get it all over your skin, okay? Okay, and now we're going to start sculpting with hand filing or your e-file, whatever you want. Let's try some hand filing. Okay, now I did supply 5 premium excellent pro files. Your nail brush and your files are the 2 most key things that is very dear to a nail technician. I'm going to use a coarse file because I'm starting to sculpt now. And what I'm doing is I'm going to go up the side this way. It's really hard to teach filing fast. So I'm not really going to go over that in this here right now because we're focusing more on whether you can put a hybrid gel over top of a acrylic or a gel product. And filing can really be very, very intense. So I'll focus on that in other videos. So I'm just going to file this up and shape it using my course. I'm just going near that cuticle very, very gently. Very happy the way the cuticle turned out. The way I describe filing is the nail you're shaping is in there. To smooth it all out and find that shape, you want to take the high points and equal it out with the low points. And once you do that, when those two come together, as long as you've got the product in the right spots, that's where you find a smooth nail. Now you're just shaping, making sure that you've got the apex where you want it. Okay, I'm going to switch over to medium now. I'm really liking it. Then I'm going to switch over to my sanding sponge. That's the purple fluffy one. I love this because see that flexibility? It just hugs the entire nail and makes it very, very smooth. Smooth more to the touch, not smoothing out the shape so much. That's for the harder files. Now this is the point where you're going to be able to tell if your product is not blending with the previous product. So as you can see, my Easy Gel goes on top of the acrylic seamlessly, and that's what you're looking for. Let me file up the rest. So I put in my bulk and sculpt because I'm going to get busy and I'm going to get serious and start shaping these nails up. Yes, I'm a big fan of filing back and forth. I don't believe in just filing one way. Okay, so that was at a 12. That's not super high, but that's really good for sculpting. That's great. If you're taking away a lot of bulk, you might want to go a little bit higher, but now I'm going to turn it down quite a bit. About a 6, but I'm going to pause it. I'm going to switch bits because I've taken away most of the bulk. I've done quite a bit of shaping, and now I'm going to start fine-tuning the shape, and I'm going to use my arbor band with that because it's going to give a very, very smooth finish. I have skipped this step over the years just to, because I want to do it faster. And I always regret it because it always gives a very beautiful, smooth finish so that when you feel that nail, like you just touch it like this, it's flawless. There's no little bumps or drops in it. So I always finish like this. That's the sound of a working drill properly, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to pause it and I am going to go around and do some cuticle work just to make sure. The arbor band can do that as well, but we have it available. We never used to, and I just got really good at cuticles with that bigger one, but I've got it, so I might as well go around the cuticle and just double check things. So the trick with this bit, I'm going to just be working on product. I don't use this on natural nails. It's got some teeth to it, right? So I'm just going to go around the cuticle very, very gently, and just to make sure it's nice and smooth. All I'm doing really is just passing via the cuticle, and it's pretty good. There's really not much in there at all. If I'm double checking my work, I'm only learning that it's pretty smooth. And the reason why that's nice is because in the old days, before we had those kind of bits, I would just take my finger and just gently hit the cuticle and see if I could find any catches. And the better I got, the no catches there were. So this is one of those things. It's just going around the cuticle to making sure you got those bits. So then I'm going to take my fine file and I'm just going around the edge of the finger, just smoothing it completely. I'll go underneath like that, and then just around the whole thing, just to smooth up that shape. Make sure there's no catches whatsoever. And I'll just do that with every single finger. Okay, so now we'll top coat them and see how pretty they are. And pretty is obviously a big part of the deal, right? We want them to look really, really pretty. But the biggest thing that I'm trying to tell you with this video is you don't have to take off previous product. If a customer comes in your door, or you're going to a nail technician and they want to take all the previous product off, they don't have to do that. Product goes together. They're basically of the same chemical family, so they all work very, very well together. You just have to work it. You just have to know how to do it properly. But you can see that this is seamless. We'll top coat them so we can see it more, but once you put them on top of each other, and you can put gel on top of here, you can put acrylic on top of hard gel. And if you take enough of a softer product off, you can also put your acrylic on top of a hybrid gel, even though it's softer. But you've got to have more of a percentage of the harder stuff on top of the softer stuff, right? So this is softer stuff on top of the harder stuff, which is acrylic. So I put hybrid gel, or gel in general, is softer than acrylic. It's not as strong as acrylic. So having the stronger one on your foundation is better. Okay, so let's top coat them and see how pretty they are, because that's what we're after, pretty, right? Pretty and durable. Now you can take, oh, I don't have my little jar, so I'm gonna have to use this again. You can wipe the nail with alcohol before you put your top coat on. Just make sure that you don't have any oils in your alcohol. And also make sure that when you're doing it, you let it dry before you put your top coat on, because some top coats don't particularly like that, because you can cause a bit of pitting or separation, and that's no good. Okay, now that I've taken, oh, I wanted to put, I'm gonna match, Cameraman. Usually I don't match. But I'm going to put mist on to have that nice, and again, I'm adding kind of a bluish tone to it, which I really, really like. And it'll help match the end too. You can still see the French in there. I thought it might be a little bit more fadey, but you can still see the French in there, really good. Okay, so let's put my mist on. Oh, that's pretty. I really like the monochrome looks. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and polish all of these up. Careful not to flood that cuticle. I want the color all the way down there, but I don't want to flood it. Nice, okay. Again, I always do my thumbs last because of that pooling issue. Now, it's most important when you're doing a dark color, like a red or a deep green or a black color. You got to really be careful and be gentle with those colors because they can pool. And because of the deepness, it's harder to make sure it's totally cured. Clear and light colors are much more forgiving in that area. So I find the problem mostly at Christmas because we use a lot of the deeper colors, right? I know some think it's boring, but I love it. Okay, so I've also got a top coat in there, and it's called Reveal. And I do that because I used to put it on before I reveal the photos. So I'm going to put my nice top coat. It's a very shiny top coat, and it's really durable too. This is going to keep your beautiful shine for a long time. Okay, now I'm gonna put it in for 60 seconds. Remember those crusty cuticles? If you were someone that was worried about that, watch this. This is all you need. You don't need to cut them up every single appointment. Maybe once in a while, but you just don't need to do it that much. Watch what the magic of cuticle oil does. Any dusty, dry, icky cuticle is gone. I mean, you'd nip away if anybody was sticking out and you didn't like that. I get that. But most times we don't need to do that. So look at that. Of course, they're wet and they're oily right now, but I'm going to massage it in. Now let's take a look at the photo, and do note the cuticles. They look good. Well, those are gorgeous, and I have 2 of them, which is a really nice treat for me. I really love them. Okay, so if you're interested in doing hybrid nails for yourself, my products are called Easy Gel. Comes in that adorable little box that I threw over my shoulder, which I'm going to get and put it all back in. I also include a nice little gift just for you, a special little gift inside the box. You can find that at nailcareer.com. I'll catch you guys in the next video.